And howdy howdy ho to all you Tiberium Wars fans. Yeah, I'm Shot Treatment again, and I'm going to be doing a nice commentary on this game between Cloverfield and Dr.Folamour. It is actually a GDI mirror, with Dr.Folamour being red GDI at the bottom part of the map, and Cloverfield is yellow GDI on the top. And without any more messing about, let's go! So we can see here that Dr.Folamour is building a power plant, whilst Cloverfield does the same. But it seems actually that Cloverfield is going to be going for a fast expansion. Yeah, he is. And he's going to the top half of the map here, because normally the base crawl from the plane on the bottom is going to go in this direction, up towards here. So the idea of the strategy is that you claim the field early and mean that when they're out of resources on their main field here, they can't continue the spam. So anyway, it seems that Dr.Folamour is actually not going to base crawl in that direction, instead choosing to go to the bottom field. And of course, the reason the players normally base crawl in this direction up here is because you can base crawl refineries in this section here but you can't do that on the horizontal version. Anyway, Dr.Folamour seems to be going with... is he going with NJAPCs? Yeah, he is. He's going with Engineer APCs, which is always a very good counter to this build if you send two down either side, because then usually you can get there before the War Factory gets a chance. Well, before the second refinery gets placed in this field, and before you can get anything out from the War Factory to be able to stop it. Yeah, so Cloverfield's gone for two harvesters on his main field, and Dr.Folamour has got two harvesters, but he's got his engineer NPCs. With one engineer NPC going for this side. But he has to be spotted by Cloverfield. He's got a watchtower up and some rocket squads. Is there another one? I think there's another one. Yep, there's actually another one here, which looks like it's going to be going for this War Factory here, but it's not on hold fire, which is a bit silly. But this one has captured the Tiberium spike. But this one is it going to go and catch the War Factory? Probably. It's been spotted by Cloverfield, and he's captured it. Yep, he's captured the War Factory, but he decides to sell, which I'm never too happy with the sell, because I always think if you capture the War Factory, you might as well try and keep ground control, push the harvesters off the field, so then you get a sort of double whammy. So they can't harvest in this field. You stop them harvesting, so you just take advantage of your extra eco. Especially since he's already got this spike, he'd put Cloverfield extremely far behind. But yeah, he decided to sell it instead and focus on a more predator spam here. But I said he's building a War Factory anyway, so why bother with that one there? And just it just kind of annoys me slightly. But anyway, a free War Factory spam from Dr.Folamour, it seems to be the order of the day, whilst Cloverfield is desperately trying to get some units up, bunkering his garrisons with rocket squads to protect against this spam. But yep, there we go. It seems it's an all-in by Dr.Folamour. He seems to be selling his MCV and going all-out predator spam, which I don't think's the greatest idea to do, especially since it's not upgraded, and with all the chokes on Small Town USA, I'm not too happy with this. If you're going to go the all-in, you may as well go for the rocket squads as well, not the predators. But yeah, already Cloverfield's on 3 War Factories himself, so he should be able to hold off this push with relative ease, especially because of the whole choke point thing, as I mentioned earlier. But it seems that the Folamour is not going to push the expansion. Instead, he's going to go for Cloverfield's main base. What's going on here? Another engineer APC and the engineer is going to capture the spike. Force fire by Cloverfield hits the engineer, it doesn't quite kill it. But it looks here that there's a bit of a base trade scenario going on, with Dr.Folamour's tanks taking out quite a lot of Cloverfield's harvesters, maybe. Nope, the harvesters retreat, and the tanks getting killed by the rocket squads. Meanwhile, in Folamour's base, you can see these Predator tanks are killing Folamour's Predator tanks as they spawn, and the harvesters aren't being able to mine. So, and the tanks are squishing all the rockets from Folamour. So Folamour's in a really bad situation here, and he's not using these tanks or these tanks to help defend, and seems that he's gonna take out all of, well, completely obliterate all of Cloverfield's main field, sorry, without much resistance. But it's just a question if Folamour can hold off this push from Cloverfield. And it looks like Cloverfield is retreating. And Folamour is barely holding on. Folamour's tanks are desperately trying to run back to defend. I would have liked to see him maybe, when you can see his tanks are retreating, you think, well, why not take out the spike? Why not kill the power? Why not push in? Maybe again, force retreat again. But Folamour is in a really bad situation here. I really didn't like the MCV cell. Anyway, having said that, it seems that Cloverfield has got a lot of tanks and quite a good economy on his expansion field, but Folamour does have 3 spikes. Folamour's moved his tanks back and forward and back again, and he's got some tanks here at the War Factory just chilling out. But the tanks are reverse moving again, not really doing anything. And Cloverfield's sending his tanks traverse move to try and defend off any potential attacks from the lightning spike. Dr.Folamour desperately trying to rebuild his base, getting a crane up and trying to get 2 refineries out on his new expansion field. And Cloverfield is going for another counter push, pushing down to Folamour's main field, which is almost harvested out. But no, it just seems like he's organising his tanks all together, just clumping him up. So it looks like players are pretty even at the moment, but I think Cloverfield is slightly ahead because, well, I think Cloverfield's really got map control here. He's got to be able to produce more Predator tanks, whilst Folamour's really got to keep pressuring and powering Eco really hard. Anyway, so these Predator tanks are coming in for an attack, and Folamour gets up a second War Factory to try and defend it. The rocket squad's being spammed, which forces Cloverfield to run his tanks away, which is biding more time for Cloverfield to get his, Folamour to get his harvesters and economy going on this expansion field. Folamour pushing up again, trying to force Cloverfield back into a tight spot. I would like to see something done about this spike, and stopping him, Cloverfield, from sending his MCV back to his old main field. Just try and contain him in the spot, take the map, take control of the resources, and then finally make an attack when you've got the contain sorted. But Folamour isn't doing that. He's pushing forward into this choke, which is not the wisest of ideas, because obviously Cloverfield can micro his tanks around the 2 war factories, while Folamour's just going to drive his tanks into their deaths. But 2 engineer APCs from Cloverfield, and this looks like it's going to really probably turn the game. Yep, captures the MCV, and I think, has he captured the crane as well? I don't think. Well, he has now. He's captured the crane, and that signals pretty much the end for Folamour, in my opinion. There's not a great deal he can do. Instead, he's going to leave his tanks at this war factory, trying to stop this engine APC, but it doesn't, and allows a capture, which is now sold. I do like that sell because there's no way Cloverfield is going to be able to go and get any sort of force around it there. For now, it seems that Folamour is without any production, well, building structures, no building queue, which is going to allow Cloverfield to go in for the push, but I would fancy Folamour to defend it off with his rocket squads and predator tanks. He better deploy that MCV pretty fast, otherwise it's going to die. Yeah, it does seem to have just got out of harm's way just in the nick of time. But yeah, these predator tanks are going to eventually go down to the rocket spam. Cloverfield's tanks getting quite badly damaged, trying to retreat and run over the missile squads, but it's not going to do much good.